This is the second video. Today is Sunday, May 25th, 2014. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Chris Henderson and Ricky Clemens and these kids, what they did to them. These kids just wanted to have just the basic necessities, basic cleaning supplies, shower curtain, a broom, a dustpan, maybe some silverware, maybe some plates, maybe a couple of glasses instead of styrofoam cups. They embezzled their money so badly that these kids would have to go to dumpsters. I call them kids because mentally they are children. They are innocent souls. They're in grown bodies. Chris Henderson was the one that I first really met and saw what Diversified Family Services in Elk City, Oklahoma were doing with these kids that they have power of attorney over. They had them so drugged up. They were allowing these kids to be beat up. And I mean beaten up, down, and not allowing them to have any medical intervention, any medical help. They were allowing rapes. There was one guy named Preacher who laid on the living room floor while his roommates, which one was a woman and the other one was a guy, when she would make something to eat, she'd put the bowl or plate around him, thinking he was just sleeping. Now every morning Diversified Family Service comes and picks these kids up about 7:30, 8:30. Then they bring them home around 3:30. Well, on about the third, fourth day, when Preacher didn't come out, well, finally one of the staff that was driving the van went in, checked on him, and found that he had been dead all that time. Ricky Clemens, the kids came to me telling me that he was very, very bad health. And so I went to check on Ricky Clemens, who lived in Cimarron Apartments, which was the apartment complex in which I lived as well. I was just a few buildings from him. And so I went to check on him at the request of the kids. The place that they had this kid, the condition they had him living in, it was awful. It was awful. It was awful. It looked like an abandoned room where all kinds of grease and dirt and soot and everything. I mean, it was everywhere. He had no way of cleaning his place either. And, excuse me, and he was in bad health. So I contacted a hospice here in Elk City, Oklahoma, and they went to see him and see what they could do for him. And it was like night and day at Christmas for Ricky Clemens. It was about 3 days from the time I contacted hospice to when I went over and checked on him. The kids were coming over and telling me how great things were going for him. And when I stepped into his little apartment, it was amazing that how nice it was. Simple, Simple and nice. He even had clean mattress to sleep on. I was very proud of this hospice. These people. But it would prove to be a very terrible ending. They were so furious that outside people had come in and saw how they were treating these kids that they sent Ricky Clemens to a psychiatric hospital in Vernon, one of the worst ones you can go to. By the next morning, he had been overdosed in an injection. Chris Henderson, I talked to one of the staff at Diversified Family Services in Elk City. That where is he? Where is he? And it was going up there and talking with Bart Lee, who was supposed to be the psychologist, therapist, drug addict. He told me that Chris had committed suicide, that he cut his wrist, and no, he did not. No, he did not. They made Chris pay, just like they made Ricky pay and all the others pay for ever talking to anyone about the horrible conditions in which they were forced to live in. And if they, part of their punishment was that the staff would buy them their weekly allotment of food, which is 5 cans of Vienna sausages, 7 cans of pork and beans. And I have seen, John Paul Caesar, the one that I stepped in, that helped really open the case of where the hidden bank account where they're embezzling these kids' money, which is Legacy Bank in Elk City. They had John Paul on that diet for a month and a half, and during the whole time would sit there and tease him about how thin he was getting. I couldn't turn my back, and I wasn't about to. They were going to put these kids' blood on my hands. And instead of the police and the authorities here to get in and help and make a difference for these kids, well, they came after me with all kinds of false charges and imprisonments and destroyed my life, bankrupted me, destroyed my vehicles, made attempts on my mom's life. I made a promise to these kids that I wouldn't stop fighting, and I haven't. It's going to take not only my life, but they're killing my mother and my pets. They're going to show me, aren't they, that for me to ever have even thought to try to step in and help these kids. Boy, they sure showed me, haven't they? They showed me what they could do, haven't they? They can shut down my doctors. They can shut down me getting any type of medical treatment. They can rob me from my bank account. They can steal all my money. They can take away all my insurance. They can do it all, and they've done it. But I tell you what, as long as I got breath in me, I am going to continue documenting this and telling this story. Because they are not going to murder me in silence. I am going to make sure that this is on the internet for all to see, to know what they have done and what they are doing. I'm hitting the 10-minute mark, and I'm going to stop this and go to the next one.